Very warm welcome to the International Coaching Week, day one. So glad to be connecting with all of you on day one for our virtual event. We will talk about our in-person event shortly. Few housekeeping things. We are recording this session, though we would love for all of you to be on camera, have an engaging interactive session. We do respect if you choose not to be recorded and want to keep your audio video off. We totally understand and respect that, but our intent is to have you all on video so that we can have a lovely session. It is an action-packed agenda. We'll have lots of fun as we go through today. We'll have lots of sharing as we go through today. So let me request Rachel, our President, Bengaluru ICF Chapter, to kick off the session as we move along. Rachel, over to you.
Thank you so much, Shanti. Good evening, everybody. My name is Rachel Gojar, and I'm the president for the chapter. And on behalf of the ICF Bengaluru Charter Chapter, a very warm welcome to all of you to the celebration of the International Coaching Week 2024. Now, International Coaching Week, or ICW, is a week-long global celebration of the power and the positive impact of professional coaching. So thank you all for joining us in this global celebration of growth, learning, and success. Now, as members of ICF and practitioners of the coaching profession, I think all coaches understand very deeply the power of coaching because we see it in our day-to-day work with our clients. And at the same time, the vision for ICF Global is a world where coaching is integral to transforming societies. Now, to bring this vision to life, we want to partner not just with individuals, but also organizations and society as a whole, so that everyone can benefit from the power of coaching. And so our intention in this session today is to share a bit about what we do and also explore ways in which we can support different organizations to achieve their goals. So I do hope that you find the session today insightful. And I also hope that this becomes the start of many more such conversations. So welcome again, and I hand it back to Shanti. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. And people, as you can see, we have our banner that proudly reads International Coaching Federation posted in the text chat too. Please feel free to download and use it. We'll be very happy to see all of you with the background of the International Coaching Week. With that, we are calling our session Coaching Conversations, bridging the perspective for organizational growth. The intent is we bring in both coaches and business together to have a conversation about what coaching is, what it can do, how it can benefit, what do coaches have to offer in this whole transaction between coaches and the organizations. So we will do a quick welcome. We'll get to know you a little bit better. We will also have an understanding of the ICF Bengaluru Charter Chapter much better. So if you're a new member to the chapter itself, this is an amazing section to be part of. And for people who are representing businesses here, you get to know what are the various kinds of activities we involve in as a part of the chapter. Then we spend some time understanding coaching itself a bit better. We get to know the coaches a bit better. There is a bit of an experience sharing. So we would love to hear stories from you in terms of if you've been a coach, what have you experienced? If you've been a client, what have you experienced? We will wrap up the session by explaining to you what is it that we have to offer to the organizations as a chapter, and see what are the various things we would want to continue this engagement with. We will wrap up with the Q&A at the end. So my first thing would be if you can all pick up your phones, scan this QR code, and share about what best describes your role. I'm going to paste the link in the text chat too, just in case you are not able to. Okay, maybe I'll have to stop sharing it.
Could you show the QR code again?
Yes, please. There's something wrong with my sharing. Yeah, finally found it. Okay, there. Are you able to see the QR code? Because for me, it shows a blank screen.
Now it is visible.
Okay. Is it possible for someone else to share the screen? Because it seems my Mentimeter is on another login and my Zoom, my presentation is on another. When I'm switching, I think it turns the screen black.
This is very much visible, Shanti.
Shanti, shall I do that?
Yes, please.
Sure.
Yeah, so that I can start my Menti also. Yeah.
Give me just a minute to share that screen again.
Yeah.
You'll have to give me the maybe co-host. I can't share the screen.
Sure.
Yeah. Is it visible?
It is. No, not this one. The slide much before this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm going to show the results on the screen as I see it now. Not sure. Anyone here can tell me what is it that you can see on the screen?
Now it's there. Shanti.
Maybe there's a lag. So we have a good number of coaches. We'll give it 10 more seconds for people to respond, and then I'll move on to the next slide. The next question is, what is your organization's level of engagement with coaching? So is this your first engagement trying to understand what coaching is? Have you experienced coaching? You've been doing it for your leaders and people. So look at the responses and let's see where we stand as an audience. Mm-hmm. we do see a breadth of experiences here where people have heard about it, where we have piloted. There are people who are regularly using, and people who have coaching as a part of their DNA too. So glad to see nobody is asking what is coaching. Lovely. Surbi, may I request you to bring up the slides while I move on to the next section of the session. People who are coaches, if you can prefix your names with the fact that you are a coach, and those who are guests, if you can prefix the name with guests, because we've got certain activities planned for these groups as we go along. With that, we move on to the next section where we get to understand what the ICF Bengaluru Charter Chapter is all about and the various initiatives within the chapter. For that, I hand it over to our Vice President Membership, Bhavani, to deliver this session.
Thank you, Shanti. Surbi, if you can just go to the next slide.
Is it visible?
Not yet.
Oh,
Yeah, okay, great. Thank you. So I'm going to try and give a quick whistle-stop tour of what we do at the chapter, what the chapter is all about, and about the ICF. It's a global organization, a not-for-profit one dedicated to the profession of coaching. Recently clocked over 60,000 members, so it's growing fast, and it's probably the largest coaching body in the world. Does two things. It accredits training programs, training schools to deliver training on coaching, and it also provides credentialing for people who want to become coaches at 3 levels: the associate, the professional, and the master level. What does the chapter do? So we are the local chapter of the global ICF for the Bangalore area. It's a voluntary organization with no commercial interest, for the members, by the members. At the moment, we have 11 volunteer leaders who govern it, and many volunteer leaders who support the running of the chapter. It reflects an illustrious and eclectic group of coaches, and as you would see from the group that's present, and as you get to know us better, you would see that coming across with coaches across multiple niches: leadership, wellness, startup coaching, group coaching, and much more. And we take pride in the learning, the continuous learning that we offer to support coaches in just upping their game constantly. Surabhi, to the next slide, please. So we're about 9 years old. This December, we become 9 years old, and we take pride in that too. And we're running at about 150 members strong, and a strong pipeline of members. As I said, we have 11 volunteer leaders. You've met Rachel, who is our president. You've met Shanti, who is our director of learning and events. In the group is Shamik Hussain, our vice president. Introducing Shamik now, as Shamik probably will not be saying much today. So introducing Shamik, and Anand, who couldn't be with us. Anand Krishnan is our secretary. As I go through the next few slides, I will be introducing the other directors who have generously given their time to help run this chapter. So we have about 16 core initiatives, and we keep adding more to respond to the demands and needs of our members. I'll take you through quickly what those 16 are. Surabhi, if you can go to the next slide. So Shanti, as I said, leads the learning events. So we fairly consistently have bi-monthly virtual learning events. We bring global and local speakers, offering anything from insights into frameworks, competencies, anything to do with coaching. It's practically anything coaching comes through this particular bi-weekly, almost like clockwork learning events, which also offers learning credits for coaches who need to continue with their credentialing and renew their credentialing. Aside from that, I will probably jump this to the next two, which also comes under Shanti. So we do mentoring. It's a very intimate, I would say, intimate group conversation kindly mentored by John Sarao, a very senior MCC coach. Happens once a month, where members are invited to bring their ethical and coaching dilemmas. It's a very personal session, because other coaches come into the conversation and support the coach who has brought this conversation. I think that's a very helpful way we do it. And we also do business development under the able guidance of P.K. Narayanan, another very esteemed coach who specializes in CEO coaching as well as business development, everything from how to pick your niche, how to grow your business. Coming back to the communities of practice, another director who is with us today, Rashmi Saran, she is the director of credentialing. Communities of practice comes under her, and she is supported by two PCC coaches, Sunil and Ravi, who I'm not sure if Sunil is here, Ravi is definitely in the crowd, who run two COPs. These are focused, targeted communities of practice on new and young coaches and group and team coaching. So that's what we offer under the umbrella of learning. So repeat to the next slide, please. Right. So introducing another director now, Preeti, who is in the audience with us. Corporate Connect is today's event comes under this umbrella of Corporate Connect. It's all about engaging with the industry to help us bridge the understanding of what coaching is and to advocate for its benefits. Also under this umbrella is partnerships, where we have collaborations with coaching schools and coaching tool providers to bring advantages to our members through this particular line. And also under that is, I'm going to jump to University Connect, which is partnerships with educational institutions to bring pro bono coaching to faculty and graduating students. So all of this comes under Preeti's portfolio. In the middle is social impact. We have another director on social impact, Varundeep Sachi, who basically is extremely dedicated to this cause of making sure we are able to give back to society through coaching. So we do pro bono coaching with a series of NGOs with whom we have signed MOUs, and consistently every year we have a program that enables coaches to work with leaders in NGOs through a coaching initiative to elevate their ability to lead. So this is what we do from our external connects. Thank you, Surabhi. Yes, next slide. So when it comes to members, also under Rashmi's portfolio is credentialing, which is really there to support coaches in their first credentialing journey towards their ACC, and also during the renewal when the 3 years is up. And this is through various elements of enabling them to maybe get peer coaching, get their CCEUs that they need to get their renewals, to get them to get through their CK exams. We are developing this portfolio as we, every day as we hear back from our members on what they need. Another portfolio under Surabhi is diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is all about the living and implementing the shared commitment which we have with ICF Global around diversity, inclusion, and belonging, as we aim to integrate coaching into society to make it accessible to everyone. So that comes under Surabhi's portfolio. Under my portfolio, aside from ensuring our members are welcomed into the chapter, is to also ensure that the physical meetups do happen regularly. So we have two types of physical meetups. One is where we get the whole group, as many people as we can, to meet at least 3 times a year. It is excellent to build the community spirit, to put faces to names, to engage the camaraderie that we coaches have, to help each other, stay strong with our commitment into this profession. Equally, given the size of Bangalore, we have 4 hubs. In the north, in the east, Indiranagar, Koramangala, and in the south, where coaches are able to choose which hub they want to belong to, and our volunteer leaders, including our vice president and secretary, run some of these hubs and some other volunteer leaders to ensure that members in their local area are able to meet up and really form a strong bond and a support system within their environment. So moving on. So this is my last slide. A few other initiatives on top of that. So another director who I haven't introduced is Shivani. So Shivani is our director of marketing and communication. She runs many initiatives, including making sure all the communication goes out. But the book club, along with Shamik, our vice president, we have this monthly book club where wonderful books are brought together, and there are many people who now members who've joined that to read and to share their insights. So that's another very novel and very, I guess, something that excites people. Another, I would say, really enjoyable initiative by one of our volunteer leaders, Pankaj, is the Chai Pe Charcha, which is a weekly 4 p.m., whatever happens, rain or shine, that call happens. And where we get a cup of tea, just turn up and share our thoughts, insights, feelings, anything. And I think that's a really great way for coaches just to integrate and mingle with each other. Under Shivani's portfolio also is the research element, where we look at doing some independent research on the value of coaching in the Indian context. And this really helps our members also to take back some of this understanding as they approach corporates to share what they've understood from the work of the chapter. And lastly, we have the blog and newsletter initiative, which is curated by the coaches for the coaches, with articles, case studies, and much more, as a form of communication back to the community about coaching. I think on that note, I'm probably on time. I'm done with my slides, and that's really a quick whistle-stop tour of the chapter.
Thank you, Bhavani. That was wonderfully elaborated in terms of what all the chapter gets involved with. And I feel proud to be a part of this chapter and driving several initiatives. We could move to the next slide, Surabhi. Life is a camera. Let's face it, wearing a smile. Maybe Surabhi, you can unshare. We can all put up a bright smile. Shivani is going to click a couple of pictures. There's a surprise awaiting on the other side of the picture. So hang in as we show up our smiles. Let's all get on camera.
Okay.
Lovely.
Few
So
more.
Shivani, yeah, there are 2 pages, Shivani. Excellent.
Yes. I'm just waiting to see if somebody else wants to come on camera. So last 10 seconds to fix your hair, your background, and if you wish to come online. Okay. Here we go, everyone. Keep smiling. There's another screen. Okay, hold that smile. Okay, thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. So what's the surprise? Shivani is going to put up our smiling faces onto LinkedIn, and she's going to share the link to that LinkedIn post very shortly here in the text chat. As we are going through the session, whatever you are learning, whatever understanding, whatever you're gathering, whatever you're expecting, we would love to hear your feedback, thoughts on LinkedIn as the session progresses. So with that, Surabhi, we can come back onto slides.
Take a minute. Sorry, can I just take 1 minute? I'm sorry, I'm one very important person. So I want to also introduce our treasurer, Mandar Chithale, who is in the audience, and who make sure we spend our money wisely and make sure we collect our money on time. So I forgot to mention Mandar. Sorry about that. Yeah.
Lovely place for me to remind people that we have an in-person session on 18th, which would not have been possible if Mandar had not approved all the funding. So yes, Mandar is pretty important, and we enjoy whenever he says, I'm blessing the funding, go and spend it in the right way for our audience. With that, we can move on to the next slide. And here is a question. Again, it's the same Mentimeter. I'm going to move on to the next slide on the Mentimeter, where whatever your understanding of coaching is, we would love to see your responses. What is coaching according to you? Yeah, and Surabhi, momentarily, I'm taking control so that I can share that screen, and once it's done, you can come back. Thank you.
Could you share the link as well?
It is the same link. Let me share it again. I'm not sure why it is not allowed. Okay.
Shivani had shared it earlier. She can help.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got it. Thank you.
All right. There. Coaching is exploration, questions, growth, possibilities, enablement, potential, conversation, action. Collaboration, self-introspection, unleashing. It's a journey, it's a spiritual clarity, breakthrough. I'm loving the fact that conversations is taking center stage in larger. Enablement in action, wonderful. Unleashing potential, yeah. Ten more seconds. Thank you. Thank you so much, people, for responding as to what your understanding of coaching is. It isn't very different from what we see coaching as. So we can bring the slides back up again. Thank you. With that, I hand it over to Surbhi for taking us through the next few slides about coaching and its importance to the industry in the world today. Over to you, Surbhi.
Thank you, Shanti. And I think as the mentee speaks, we already have the people who are really well aware. So I am planning to be brief and maybe open more for people to share. Yeah, great. And through the whole mentee here that we spoke about coaching, unleashing potential, conversations, lots of those aspects, you can find it here as ICF defines the coaching as a partnership with the client. That's the conversations in a thought-provoking and a creative process that inspires to unleash the potential of the individual, right? I am not going in detail because as I understand, there are people, any questions, we'll take it up later. When we speak about what is coaching, and we all are well aware, it is equally important and very much relevant now to also look at what coaching is not. And why is this relevant now? How we see and we have observed is because coaching is a word that's been used very interchangeably with mentoring, teaching, training, consulting, counseling, and therapy. Yeah. And as we all know, the main crux remains in self-discovery through those conversations. It's not teaching. It's not about telling or giving solutions. It's about finding our own solutions. With that, I'm moving to the benefits of coaching, not going in detail, but specifically as we all are aware, and we have really seen in our own workplace or as coaches, we have seen the changes that we bring in the business world. I'm reiterating the aspect with the data that we have from the industry. When we look at how it helps at an individual level, it improves self-confidence by 80%, improves relationships, the communication skills goes up, and the work-life balance hence increases. This all happens if we look at the bigger umbrella through the clarity that coaching gives to the individual, to the client. And of course, what does that do is improve the work performance, the business management acumen, time management aspect, as well as time effectiveness. Many of those things we still see in the organizations we want to improve. Coaching does bring wonders there. Moving on, and when we look at overall how coaching helps the organization, we like to divide it into one is the well-being, the other one is the performance. When we look at well-being, that is coming up a lot now with regard to the whole mental well-being, that is a topic or a discussion in every organization. How does coaching help there? Of course, it decreases the stress. In turn, builds resilience by exploring the strengths and values of individuals. In turn, what happens? We see the increase in job performance by 56%, higher productivity by 21%, and lower employee turnover by 65%. Yeah, the attrition has been a challenge, and especially for the good employees. So here we are. When we talk about the employee performance, right, mental aspect is very important, right? And hence, when we look at it, helps us to evolve and become more aware of our strengths and the clarity that we get. What happens? We are open to seeing new perspectives, and hence the out-of-the-box thinking comes in. By 89% of the cases have seen that. Open to learn new competencies by 81%. Identifies their strengths and weaknesses, 86%. Integrated success behaviors by 79%. And overall, a 90% achievement in the goals. That is, as per KRAs and the KPIs, it's really the high achievers section, the top 10%. Just bringing those together now, when we talk about what happens when coaching helps individuals develop and grow, and we look at the organization and the ecosystem of that of the whole business or the organization. It's very easily that has been the research, and the data says we outperform peers by 27%. We see significantly more engaged people, that is 25% higher engagement. Apply more discretionary efforts. We are more open to take challenges and do things without waiting for permissions, 18%. And substantially less likely to leave. Impact on direct reports, discretionary efforts increased by 16% and promotability by 11%. Overall, when we look at a larger picture, senior leaders have demonstrated superior business management capabilities, and hence greater ability to get business results. And 1.5 is the 50% increase in that. With the whole aspect in coaching, and we have, most of us or every one of us have seen the change that coaching brings in. I want to now open it for, especially to start with, our business fraternity, the HR leaders, business leaders that we have with us. If you could share the impact coaching has brought into your organization. Any case you would want to share. Shanti, just help me out if someone is.
Yeah, I'm looking through if there is a hand raised. You can just unmute and speak, people. I don't see a hand raised, Surbhi. We can
To break the ice, to break the ice, maybe we could ask coach, any coaches who would like to volunteer to share the impact coaching had in the assignments they did with the organizations. And meanwhile, if I may request our business and the HR leaders to take your time and think about it. We would love to learn the impact that you have seen.
We
Shanti,
have Ken. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Surbhi. Thanks, Shanti, for the opportunity. I think I'm sharing my experience today, not so much as a coach. Of course, I've gotten into the space now of coaching and working with individuals, but I'm sharing my experience for the benefit of the HR leaders, L&D leaders who are here as an L&D professional, as someone who would engage coaches regularly. And I've been working with business results coaches, life coaches, executive coaches for leadership for the last 10 years or so. And the biggest impact I think we've seen through all those years of working with coaches for the leaders within the organizations that I was part of was Traction for Action. Early on in my career as part of a market research conglomerate, and one of the important changes that we wanted to see for our senior managers, right? Individuals who are getting into leadership roles, who are going to be handling large accounts, was taking greater ownership, being able to show that enterprise thinking and enterprise mindset. And that was lacking typically with them because they were more focused on analytical thinking, more focused on being able to complete research projects. So they were more research oriented and less business oriented. Bringing about that shift, we tried out various options. We run programs for them and workshops for them. But eventually, with some of our key account holders, we found that coaching worked really well for them. It was an intervention that they would go through for about 6 to 9 months. And during that period, the focus was on the skill gaps that existed for them. And through it, they would gently move towards results, behavior changes, actions that they needed to take on the ground. And for us as HR professionals who would see these managers, who would work with these leaders through that journey, we saw a sea change, not just in the actions and behaviors they brought about on the ground, but even in their mindset and their ability to move forward on those new areas or responsibilities that they were taking on. So I think that's the kind of shift that I hadn't seen before that or even after that in any other form of intervention, really. So coaching really does work that way. It's very precise, it's focused on the individual, and it is a journey that's very fulfilling and continues to reap you benefits even after the coaching journey is done. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on this.
Thank you, Kenneth. Yeah, go ahead, Shanti.
We have Vaibhav who's put up his hand. Oh, did he drop? No. Go ahead, Vaibhav.
Oh, sure. Thanks. Hey, Shanti. It's always lovely to see you. Yeah, you're the light who I chase. Yeah. All right. In fact, I named my house after you. So.
Oh my God.
All right. Well, there's a backstory to it. But anyway, so wanted to share something that I have personally experienced, and also since the time I've been attempting to create coaching culture within my organization. One thing that hit me very hard was that coaching as an experience, as a learning conversation, it's been very new as a concept to a lot of people. In fact, a lot of leaders in my organization, when I introduced the concept of ICF to them, some of them were spellbound to hear about the possibilities. Some of them were spellbound to hear about the value that a lot of other people see in coaching and how much they're ready to pay for a coach. And some of them outrightly discarded the idea, and they were like, what difference can coaching make? And since then, I've been putting in efforts to create or establish coaching culture. Good thing is that people are open to invest some time. However, one thing that I've noticed is that when it comes to the frontline leaders, for them, coaching conversations are all transactional in nature. So my team member came in late, and this is how I spoke to him and whatnot. So I really have developed a feeling that at that level, while coaching can create phenomenal results, they don't see as much value. They are not in for deriving that level of value from coaching. However, when we think about the middle layer, at the middle layer, people are more inclined. So I'm talking about, say, manager and senior manager. Now, these are the people for whom coaching is more internal experience. And these are the people that I've experienced such conversations wherein they want to create an impact. They go through this syndrome, the imposter syndrome, and they want to overcome it. And so that phenomenal change, the transformational change that coaching is capable of creating, in my personal experience, when we tried to implement coaching within my organization, we realized that there's a sweet spot that we got to target. And if we just go about opening coaching for everybody, that is more of just wasted man hours. I'm sorry, couldn't find a better word to put it. So this is one thing that I'm learning as I'm attempting to create a coaching culture within the organization. Wanted to share that. Yeah.
Thank you, Vaibhav. And that leads me to the aspect of receptivity of the client, of the coachee. How open are they to receive it? And the frontline managers on the line always. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing. Moving on to, I think, Jonas Prasanna.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Jonas. I'm part of Boeing as part of the HR team. My experience with coaching was I always thought coaching was a one-on-one kind of activity. But how do you actually scale it for a very large organization that is across multiple countries, multiple time zones? So we are partnered with an organization, Better Up, that uses ICF coaches to actually do coaching at scale. And you really see the impact because you have coaches that are there within the same time zone as individuals. They are there at the time that is required for the individual. And rather than, and it's also happening virtually. So there were a lot of mindsets that I had in terms of coaching should be ideally in person. It can be only done one-on-one. It can't be done at scale. Those kind of things, which was really broken by the fact that you could do it at scale, you could do it virtually, and still have meaningful outcomes. So that's something that I'd like to share.
Thanks, Jonas. Yeah, it's just not individual, but it is about at scale. It is possible, and there are teams and system coaching. It's expanded apart from one-on-one coaching. Thank you. Yeah, Rashmi. Before that, Shanti, how much time do we have for?
We'll have a few more minutes. We can take a couple of more.
Sure. Rashmi, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Yeah, so first of all, I would like to tell the gentleman who just now spoke that we have a lot of coaches who are in Better Up in the ICF Bengaluru chapter itself, I being one of them. So yes, and we are, coaching people across time zones, even the US and the Europe and all. Yeah, and if we have some time, Surbi, can I share a real life story of a coaching transformation? It will take 2-3 minutes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so let's talk about the transformation story in the form of a real life story. I was coaching this lady who was heading the procurement of a big manufacturing unit. So what I'm trying to emphasize here is how when we coach leaders, we actually create so much more than just bringing transformation in the person. You're transforming the culture. You're transforming people who are there, who are impacted by the leader. And so this lady was heading the procurement of a big manufacturing company. And she had a team of around 20 youngsters. So each of these people were handling different vendors because it was a manufacturing company. So vendors were attached to each of these people. Now, one day what happened, one vendor, a very important vendor, sent a mail to the girl who was interacting or who was coordinating with him, saying that they would not be able to supply something which was very essential for the manufacturing unit and that it would have to come to a halt for some time. This mail was, put everyone on real alert, and she wanted immediately to have a plan B and send it to all her stakeholders, internal stakeholders. So she immediately sent a plan B and she marked a copy to everyone. Unfortunately, she forgot to delete the mail ID of the person, the vendor. Okay, so he got the mail, which he was not supposed to get. It was with a plan B, and the vendor got very hostile. And he immediately responded saying that he would not like to continue here, So the whole, everyone was in a fix, and all the stakeholders started calling up this lady who was the boss of this girl, the procurement head who I was coaching. And she was initially, she got really very angry, very upset. She was full of emotions, and she really wanted to call this girl and ask her why she did this. However, she had been undergoing some sessions on how to be a coach leader and how to give feedback. She held on, allowed the emotions to settle down, gave it around 20 minutes, and called the girl to her room. Now, this girl came in with a lot of fear because she knew that she had made a major mistake. And everyone was, all the stakeholders were calling up this lady. So she asked her to sit down. And she said, look, what has happened has happened. I would really like to know what happened, what prompted you to do this. With the tone which she spoke in, the girl felt very comfortable. And she said, let me tell you, I have made a mistake and I agree to that. However, my intentions were very good. I wanted this mail to go very fast so that we could take action immediately and there would not be any losses which our company faces. However, unfortunately, in my enthusiasm to send the mail very fast, I did a reply all. I didn't remove the mail ID of the vendor. So this lady said, what do we do now? We are in a big problem. She said, you don't worry. I'll go back. I have a good rapport with this gentleman. I've been interacting with him. I'll definitely be able to find some interim solution. She goes back, talks to him, convinces him, apologizes to him, and comes back with a great interim solution till he starts fully once again, delivering what he was. Now, the whole, when she shared this whole experience with me, I was just thinking, what would have happened if she had not had the patience to call her and listen to her and come to a solution together? So what could have happened? Maybe she would have been so emotional, she would have called the girl, fired her, and said that you're no good. The girl would have been very, very demotivated and disengaged and would not have thought of any interim solution as such. So the entire load would have come on this lady, and maybe she may not have been able to get to a solution as good as what the girl did. So in this whole situation, when she changed herself, the boss, the manager, when she changed her own approach, got into a coaching approach, made a mistake into a learning moment, and created more engagement with the girl, we see that not just that lady transformed as a leader, we see the transformation happening in the entire organization. Just like the ripple effect, when you throw a stone in a calm water body, the ripples go not just on the surface, they go down and then they go on the side also. It impacts the entire ecosystem. So that's the power of coaching. I thought I'll tell you in the form of a story, real life story, rather than giving you, some facts about coaching. Thank you so much for listening to me.
Experience of coaching. Shanti?
Yeah,
Is there
thank you.
Yeah. Is there anything in the chat? Okay.
No, nothing in the chat, just that Shivani has posted the LinkedIn post, and we are looking forward to collective experience sharing on LinkedIn too.
Over to you then. Thank you so much for the opportunity as well here.
Thanks, Surbhi. With that, in preparation for today's event, we've been checking in with our community, both coaches as well as our business leaders, to what is coaching and why are people in coaching? So one of the questions we asked our coaches, and I'm going to paste the link to the LinkedIn post from where we've picked this. So the question was, I am a coach because, and we've got some wonderful responses. Shivani, you could move to the next slide, which has the summary of some of the responses, but I've posted the entire LinkedIn chat for you to view. There were responses that said, it gives me a kick to see people, teams transform. Coaching improves my thinking and my ability to connect. I love the possibilities that coaching opens up. I experienced coaching and unlocked my own potential. So we can already see that coaching is not just for the client, it's also for the coach. I believe my purpose in life is to support others and to live their potential, and developing and growing people is my passion. There were these responses that clearly indicated that coaches are here for very purposeful intent, which is the service of the coachee or the client. We can move on to the next question, where we asked our coaches, what do they think that the client needs in order to gain most from the coaching? And we got some amazing responses. I'm going to paste the link to the LinkedIn post yet again in the chat for you to refer to at a later date. But the themes that emerged were that the coaching needs to trust the process. Coaching is not a magic wand where, one session, 1 hour, and then transformation happens. The client needs to trust the process and be a part of the entire journey. Be open and vulnerable, not only in terms of sharing, but also in terms of taking feedback, taking actions. The coachee needs to set clear goals. If the coachee comes into the coaching conversation and asks the coach, okay, you tell me what I need to do, what I need to transform into, the coach might not be well equipped to answer that. When the coachee comes prepared with the question in terms of, I need to be a better leader, I need to be a better team member, I need to be able to manage this project better, that's when the real conversation happens. The coachee needs to embrace lots of self-reflection, and not all self-reflection is nice and pretty. We all know that. Sometimes what we realize about ourselves can actually throw us, and we'll be very surprised to realize why we do certain things. We have to be open and honest as a client. We have to embrace constructive feedback that will come our way. We have to apply what we are learning about ourselves. We have to apply what we are committing to the coach in the session, going back into the, into our daily life. We have to take ownership of the journey. It is a partnership, as we saw in the definition initially. Coaching is a partnership, and definitely not something that the coach tells the client to go and do something and the coachee will go and do that particular thing. The coachee needs to be open to communicate with the coach at all points in time. And it's important, in order to be able to trust the process, the coachee needs to keep showing up. Yeah. These are some amazing questions we asked. There are a couple of more questions that through the week also we will be answering. I'll post a couple of them in the text chat. But with that, I hand it over to the most important section of today. How are we willing to partner with the industry? For that, may I call upon Preeti, our Vice President Industry Connect, to take us through this section of the presentation.
Thank you, Santi. Hi, everyone. So Survi, can you move? Yes. So journey ahead, and as you can see, we have arrows going together, the ICF Bengaluru Chapter and corporate and industry going together. So that's what we are actually thriving for, and we really want to, we aspire to cultivate a coaching culture within the organizations we partner with, and by integrating coaching principles and practices into the organizations, ethos, we can create an environment that values continuous learning, growth, and development at all levels. We have been seeing all the benefits in the previous slides. So can we move further? Thank you. So we can partner both in one-on-one coaching and group coaching sessions for employees and leaders, as well as team coaching. And our focus is to have the career growth transition, if any employee is going through a transition or a career growth, and building high performance teams. So that's what team coaching brings, and building the coaching culture. As I said, we really try to build that coaching culture within the organization at all levels. So we move ahead. The next slide. Oh, not this one. Thank you. So how we can move forward, and how we can move together. Our next steps include, we can do some building, coaching awareness sessions, organizing in-person and virtual webinars on the power of coaching as a catalyst for achieving business outcomes. Or we can do some experiential coaching also, where we can facilitate short coaching sessions for a group of corporate leaders in a speed dating format, pairing them with the coaches for the ICF from the ICF Bengaluru chapter. And these initiatives actually aim to enhance understanding and appreciation for coaching, while providing practical experiences to demonstrate its effectiveness, in driving personal and the overall organizational growth. So, to the next one. How do you wish to engage with ICF Bengaluru? So this is the QR code. Please scan it, and there is a form. And we really would love to hear how we can engage together. How you want us to be engaged.
Thanks, Preeti. I have pasted the link to the form in case scanning the QR code is a challenge. We'd love to hear from you as to how you would like to engage as a corporate with the ICF Bengaluru Charter Chapter. We'll give it a couple of minutes for people to fill in the survey, and then we continue.